The lights are already on, but no one is speaking yet. The room smells like sweat and disinfectant. The mirrors don't flatter anyone here. They never do. They tell the truth too early, too often. 7 figures stand scattered across the practice room, not close enough to be comforting, not far enough to be alone. Sneakers scuff the floor. Someone exhales too loudly, then apologizes without meaning to. This is before the world knows their name, before the chants, before the light sticks, before the edits make everything look inevitable. Right now, nothing feels inevitable. There's a clock on the wall, but no one looks at it. Time here doesn't behave normally. It stretches, it waits, it watches. Every second feels like it's asking a question no one is ready to answer. Am I good enough? Am I replaceable? If I disappear tomorrow, will anyone notice? They don't say these things out loud. They live in the body instead, in tight shoulders, in clenched jaws, in the way someone keeps practicing the same move long after everyone else has stopped. Pain arrives quietly in places like this. Not dramatic pain, not the kind that gets sympathy, the quiet kind, the kind that convinces you that you are alone even when the room is full. They come from different places, different lives, different versions of themselves that already had to be left behind. Some crossed oceans, some crossed expectations, some crossed childhoods that ended too fast. None of them arrived untouched. The cameras would later call it a survival show, but survival implies you're allowed to want to live. This felt more like learning how not to disappear. There are days when they don't recognize their own voices anymore. Days when feedback feels less like guidance and more like erosion. Days when talent isn't enough, effort isn't enough, even improvement isn't enough. Someone always goes home. Every smile on screen hides the math happening underneath. If someone else shines, what does that mean for me? If I fail today, will there be a tomorrow? At night, when the lights finally go out, the silence is louder than the music ever was. Bunk beds creak, phones glow under blankets, messages from home go unanswered because replying would mean admitting how scared you are. One of them stares at the ceiling and counts breaths because sleep won't come. Another rewatches a performance, not to admire it, but to punish himself for what he missed. Another writes notes he'll never show anyone, trying to explain to himself why quitting would hurt more than staying. They are not competing because they want to beat each other. They are competing because the alternative is vanishing. When the final moment comes, when names are called and futures are decided in seconds, relief and guilt arrive together. 7 stand where many once stood. The room is too quiet for celebration. The weight of absence presses harder than the thrill of arrival. They bow, they smile, they thank everyone, and then they are alone again. This time with a name, ENHYPEN, a word that feels bigger than them, a promise they're not sure they can keep, a line connecting past and future, tension and growth, who they were and who they are expected to become. Debut doesn't feel like winning. It feels like standing on the edge of something higher than before, realizing the ground can still disappear. The first stage arrives faster than expected. Outfits feel unfamiliar, like borrowed confidence. Earpieces buzz. The lights are blinding, but not warm yet. There's a second, just one, before the music starts, where everything goes silent. Not peaceful silence, the kind that dares you to exist. They step forward anyway. The performance ends. Applause comes later than they imagined. For a heartbeat, no one moves, no one breathes. That gap, that space between effort and response, changes them. That's when it hits. This is real, and real can reject you. Backstage, hands shake as they take their first breaths as artists, not trainees. Someone laughs too hard. Someone else goes quiet. No one knows how they did. No one knows if it was enough. The days that follow blur together. Practice rooms, recording booths, choreography revisions that never seem finished. Mirrors that ask for more every time. Perfection becomes a moving target, and they chase it because stopping feels dangerous. Each of them carries the pressure differently. One carries it like responsibility, shoulders squared, learning too early how to be strong for others, even when he feels small inside. Leadership is lonely when you're still growing yourself. One carries it like expectation, the burden of being good turning into fear of being human. When people call you talented, they stop forgiving your mistakes. One carries it like fire, intensity masking the doubt underneath. If he pushes hard enough, maybe no one will see how afraid he is of slowing down. One carries it like gratitude that borders on panic. Every opportunity feels borrowed. Every mistake feels like proof he doesn't belong. One carries it like discipline, elegance forged from years of control. But control doesn't protect you from loss. It just teaches you how to hide it. One carries it like light, smiling even when misunderstood, choosing warmth in rooms that don't always know what to do with it. One carries it like time running too fast, talent growing faster than childhood could keep up with, to be accurate. Fame creeps in slowly, then all at once. One day, someone recognizes them in public. The first time isn't glamorous, it's confusing. There's a pause where everyone wonders how to react. Are we allowed to be seen like this? Airports get louder, waiting rooms feel smaller. Words said casually online start to land with weight. Praise feels unreal. Criticism feels permanent. They learn that being watched changes how you exist. Even rest becomes performative. Even silence gets interpreted. Some nights, the pressure finds cracks. Exhaustion spills into tears that disappear quickly. Doubt resurfaces not as a question, but as a statement. You could lose this. They never say, almost gave up, but there are moments when they stare at their reflections a little too long, when someone asks, "Are you okay?" and the answer comes too fast to be true, when the thought of being normal again feels tempting in ways that scare them. Then there are the fans, not as numbers, not as trends, as witnesses. People who see the growth because they grew alongside it. People who recognize the exhaustion behind the smile, the sincerity behind the performance. People who show up not just for victories, but for becoming. The first win doesn't feel like celebration, it feels like disbelief. Hands shake as the trophy is held, eyes blur. Someone forgets what to say, someone else cries without sound. In that moment, success doesn't erase the pain before it, it validates it. It says you didn't suffer for nothing. But success doesn't soften the road ahead, it sharpens it. Expectations rise, standards tighten, the margin for error shrinks. They are praised for perfection and punished for humanity. The world wants consistency. Growth is messy. They keep going anyway. Not because it's easy, because stopping would mean abandoning the versions of themselves who endured the quiet rooms, the empty halls, the long nights wondering if they mattered. They still return to the practice room, still face the mirror, still start again. And when the noise fades, when the stage empties, when the lights finally dim, what remains is not the image people see, it's 7 people who learned how to stay. Stay through doubt, stay through fear, stay through the unbearable weight of becoming someone in public. They are not finished products, they are in motion, and maybe that's why this story feels alive, because it isn't about arrival, it's about continuation. The becoming doesn't end here. It never does.